Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video I'm showing you my pantry of dehydrated goods, as I have promised you. Just first of all, just to let you know guys, that my dehydrated goods pantry split into two. So I have a short term to medium term, which is right underneath here, and then I have a longer term which is then stored in a different location. Just to make you aware guys, this cupboard has got some grains at the back as well, but I kind of use that, you know, when we're dehydrating things, especially if you're like me, if you're growing stuff or you're picking some bits in the supermarket, you're kind of dehydrating things in a bit on the small batches. And then how I do it guys, I just ram them in the jar after it's dehydrated and I just cram them in the cupboard. But time is now where the cupboard's absolutely full and you end up having like a duplicate things of like certain dehydrated goods that they need to be combined into a one jar and then put away either here or in a longer term storage, and it's kind of become a mess a little bit, so it's going to be a little bit embarrassing showing you. And at the same time, it's perfect timing guys to have your pantry check up and obviously clear out and make sure that you have no issues with your goods. I for fact know I've noticed one problem there was something that's been done quite a while back, so it's something that I'm going to be dealing with today. So guys, without further ado, let me turn the camera around, I'll show you what it looks like there, and then we get some bits out and we talk about it. So guys, here we are. So this is the cupboard and you can see this is a bit of a mess. Do excuse the lighting because it's going to create some shadows from where I'm filming, but right, okay, so in the top there guys, I have a lot of small jars, and it's all, as you can see, look, see I have some mushrooms which obviously been used, but the jar is taking space and it's barely empty. Bits and bobs there, so I have that's the courgette powder. You can see it goes deep, but not everything is full, and it's just kind of yeah, a bit of a mess. Right, so let me just quickly show you what's at the front and then I get stuff out. So got big jar of spinach, and I'll actually show you how well it rehydrates. So I've got some onions, I've got some bay leaf that's been squashed, got some more onions, so you get to see, okay, bits and bobs there, and then I've got some jars at the bottom. On this side, again, it's absolutely a mess. I keep my oxygen absorbers in here, and again, dehydrated things. And this is the problem. See, this is a dehydrated strawberry. And if you see underneath, okay, it's been conditioned for over a week, and it was fine. And suddenly I've noticed that, and it looks like it's damp underneath. It's still powder, it still moves. So I'll have to be repackaging that into a smaller jar. Courgettes, again, you can see how much mess of what it is. Herbs, I'll make some powders, which I'll tell you about that in a minute. This is my mixed herb powder, dehydrated mushroom powder. So literally you can see how I dump stuff in there to be dealt with, like the recent purchases of some tomato powders, some Milo bags. So you can see guys, right, it is a pretty messy. So let me get some things out. So guys, the stuff, or majority of the fruit stuff, is out of the cupboard, and it's actually shocking. To be fair, it's been literally years since I've got all of the stuff out, and it is like, yeah, it's really definitely need to be dealt with. So let me just show you what's left in the shelves right now. So I haven't got this out because I don't have enough space on the counter left for you to show, but it's just there. They are the mushrooms. I've got some beans and I've got some dehydrated broccoli. On this second shelf, I've got a big tub of dehydrated tomatoes that looks a bit sweaty. That's a bit worrying. I've got some onions, some mushrooms, some kiwi, some leeks. Yeah, I'm a bit worried about the tomatoes down now. Get and have a look. It looks very damp. It's got the oxygen absorber in there. Okay, I'll have to get this out and have a look. And on this side, guys, I've got it's a medium-term pantry for the grains. They just sit there at the back. It's not something I use on a regular basis. It's just there. I've got some other grains in the other kitchen cupboards. They're easily accessible. They're just there. So that's that. So now let's have a look at the top. Yeah, this is a lot of stuff, and it's very, very messy. I even have some olive oil in there, and I have my mala bags in there, and some random stuff. So whilst in that process, I have noticed a big issue. Obviously, I showed you with the strawberry powder, which I said that needs to be redone. Also, I have noticed with one of my peas, not this one. You see, I've got multiples of peas. Oh yeah, sorry, the peas there, look. They're going manky, and actually moldy underneath. So that's going to be going straight in the bin. This was my own dehydrated peas, but clearly they weren't dry enough. So it just shows you the importance, guys, of dealing with the pantry, and actually keep checking your pantry. Obviously, I've conditioned everything, but we can see that the things are happening. So let me turn the camera around, and then I can talk to you a bit better. So guys, here we are. So all of the bits like I showed you is out. Whatever you've seen is left there. Obviously, I will take this all out. I will clean this out. Make sure I put some more oil, lavender oil and bits and bobs, just to keep all the bugs away. But nonetheless, I did get this tomato jar out there, and I've noticed the mistake right away, guys. I've actually put the oxygen absorber rather than the moisture absorber in there, and they have been sweating on the inside. Obviously, the reaction, they do get warm, and because of the moisture of the tomatoes is more than 10%, you're not meant to put oxygen absorber with the foods that contains more than 10% moisture. So unfortunately, that is now suitable for the bin because of the potential botulism. So anyway, guys, let's have a look through these things that I have in here. And just one more time, guys, to mention to you, this is just my imminent working pantry. When I just process stuff, I have a busy life. I dehydrate bits and bobs, and then I just shove them in the little jar, and then obviously time goes on and the pantry gets full, and then I go through the process of then repackaging and taking this for a long-term storage, keeping certain amounts for everyday use. So it's not something I've been doing in this video or showing you the other part. That'd be probably part number 2 if this one goes well. I just thought, because many of you wanted to be quite nosy to what it is I have and what it is that I dehydrate, I thought, well, it's a perfect time, me needing to do this, and I might as well film that for you. So first of all, let's start with a spinach, okay? I keep going on about growing your own spinach, how good it is. It grows really easy. It dehydrates very quickly if you obviously chop in small pieces, if you're growing the perpetual spinach, or generally spinach dehydrates honestly within like few hours. And the beauty of that, guys, you can either make it into the powder, which I have been doing, but also I've started keeping some in the whole leaves, because the other day I kind of thought, well, why don't we try and make a meal? Although yes, I've got this perpetual spinach growing outside, trying to make a meal with the spinach here and see how well obviously that goes. And actually it dehydrated really well. I show you here, I've got the a bowl here where I put some water, because the spinach leaves are quite tough. Surprisingly, when you actually rehydrate that, you think they all kind of become mushy, fall apart. Well, actually, they keep their integrity really well. So from now on, I also will be having some spinach. They'll keep as a whole leaves rather than a powder. It just gives you that bit more of versatility to when you come to cook in a winter. Right, so next thing, guys, I have here is a little bit of ginger. Okay, this ginger just been cut into like little circles and dehydrated. It takes very long time to dehydrate. I don't think I really probably would do that again, especially now prices of the ginger. But having the chunks of ginger is really good if you want to add it on to a tea, for example, if you're brewing your own tea. And at the same time, I do have a ginger powder, which I made from that. It's far stronger than the supermarket ones. I haven't really been using that much recently in the cooking, but it is there, guys, when I need it. Right, thing here I have, and this was actually dehydrated asparagus, and this is the one thing I definitely won't do again. It takes a while to dehydrate, okay, and it becomes really woody. It kind of loses a lot of its flavor as well, but it's okay to add on if you're really going to stew something for a very long time. But I'm yet, to be fair, to find a way of use for this apart from stews. Chili peppers, I have them, and I actually found some loose ones kicking about in a cupboard for whatever reason. I've got a big, like, few liter jars of the chilies, so that will come out from the pantry and it'll go up combined with the other chilies, which I'll show you different time. Here I have some that I believe was some dill. Again, I had them coming up, so I quickly dehydrate them, put them in the jar. I probably end up making that into powder. Peas, if you've seen one of the dodgy one, that's going to be going in the bin. I now feel a bit uneasy, and to be fair, I found with the peas, okay, because I grew different varieties, they all dehydrate differently, and the sizes of the peas when you harvest them from your garden are different as well. And to be fair, again, they take forever to rehydrate, and I'm doubting whether I'm ever going to be doing this again. To be fair, after seeing what happens to those peas, I don't think I'll be dehydrating my own peas, if any peas at all. I probably just end up buying them. This is just personal choice. Right, here as well I have, let's go with some leek powder. I do have some leeks. I'm not sure if there's in this pantry or... Oh yeah, here we go. The leek greens, okay, they dehydrate really easily. I think I just kept them there for a show and tell for the videos, but they go well into or make a really nice tasty powder. So when you do have your leeks, rather than throwing away your tops, the green parts, wash them thoroughly, cut all the nasty bits, and then dehydrate them, and you can make them into a powder. Right, another thing now which I probably won't be ever doing again, this is actually sweet corn. It looks a bit sorry for itself. This was my own sweet corn from last year. It kind of doesn't particularly look that appealing, so, you know, if you stew this long time, it comes up okay, but it takes a while, and obviously I don't grow enough of it. I know you can dehydrate this frozen, but to be fair, I have never dehydrated any frozen vegetables. But anyway, because I'm concentrating on producing my own and preserving my own, so that would be questionable for growing for next year. I have here, again, it's some coconut chunks, because I make a lot of like a protein type snack bars for my husband. If you ever to see coconuts on sale, they dehydrate really well. It does have, obviously, coconut is quite oily, but they do dehydrate well, and they do keep well if you keep them airtight. Here I've got some dehydrated banana chips. Again, they're great. You can make them into the powder, but it does become sticky, so I keep them this way, and then if I need to use them in a powder, I'll just blitz them there and then. It just stops me having an issue of them sticking together. So here I have onions. I've got a lot of onions. I've initially been buying them dehydrated, like kindled, whatever they're called, from Amazon. Kindled, I think they're called. Anyway, whatever. And then I've been buying them when they were on sale at Christmas and around Easter time for like 15p. I've been buying them, putting them through a processor, and obviously making my own. So as you can see, as batch has been happening, I have half empty jars which need to be dealt with. So something for me to do later on. Right, mushrooms. I've got a lot of mushrooms. They are the oyster mushrooms. Again, I'm keeping an eye on them. If they're on the deal, then pick them up. They are really expensive when you buy them, so unfortunately I do choose to keep them separately from other mushrooms, because purely due to the value. I do have few big ones as well, but nonetheless they are really good, really flavorful. Other thing I've got in here, guys, you might see me courgettes, which I've done the courgette flour the other day on a video, and I told you I'll keep some as a whole, which I did. I've got a few more to dehydrate, so I'll be keeping them like that for the pantry. Here, that needs to be changed, but I've got some dehydrated cabbage. This is like a green leafy cabbage, like kale type thing. Again, that rehydrates superbly well to add on to your potatoes or stews really well. I haven't got a lot of it because I am obviously growing, hopefully, cabbage this year, so hopefully I wouldn't have to rely on the dehydrated ones. Here I have some orange peel. Again, what a waste of a jar. Do you know what I mean? When I started this, I had a lot of jars, but jars are expensive and space they take as well. So this is only kept for an experiment for fire lighting. So you can dehydrate those without even actually physically putting them in a dehydrator. They will air dry, and they're really good. If you've got a wood burner, you can actually chuck them in there. Obviously, it's really works really well as a starter. So I'll take mine out, free the jar, and put them in some other preparedness place, because they certainly don't need to be in my pantry. Right, apples. I've been dehydrating a lot of apples. I don't think I've done a video on that. Maybe I should. I've got tons of apples, fresh apples currently coming in. So as you can see, I've started originally with the small jars, but again, what a waste of space. So we'll be repackaging them. I've done the apple crumb as well, which I have, I think, somewhere, but you crumb them up, and again, it's ready to be added on to, say, breakfast bars or cereals. And when I do them half like this, they're good snack for a little kiddies or even for adults as well. Here, I think I had one of my red onions or two from the garden for some reason in a tiny jar. So to be fair, it's totally pointless keeping that in that. So I will end up either using it or combining it probably with some other onions. Other thing I've got here, guys, is I've tried to dehydrate some green beans. Okay, like French green beans. Again, similar situation to the asparagus. They don't do that well. They take for ages. They become really, really hard, and they take a while to rehydrate, and they don't particularly have that much more flavor. So I choose now to either pickle them or freeze them. Again, guys, for a shelf-stable thing, if you pickle them, they'll sit there for a while. It's not something you probably add into the stew when it's pickled, but again, as you can see, I've tried it once and I don't think I'll be trying that again. One thing I have in here is celery. Celery dehydrates really, really well. Don't have huge amount of it because celery is kind of cheap at the moment and it grows there, but nobody really particularly likes it. Even chickens don't really eat it. So I've tried it. I've got some, and if I have a gluttony of it, which I don't think I will this year, that's all it is. It makes a good salt. You can powder it and add it to the salt. It's fine. Give it obviously a bit of, a bit of flavor and a bit of vitamins, but nonetheless, it's good, and it takes a while to dehydrate, but it's okay. Right, so half leftover mushrooms, my mushroom powder. So when you guys, and I think I covered this on the videos before, the mushrooms take awful lot of space. So if you don't have a lot of space in your pantry for mushrooms, make them into the powder. The flavor 100% still there in a powder form. If you're making a risotto, or you add on a couple of spoons and you're there. It's really, really good. This jar's got like few kilos of mushrooms, so you can see how you can minimize your space by powdering bits and bobs. So, oh yes, this is the powdered spinach that I have, and I have a big jar as well I've started doing, so I'll combine that superbly to add on to mashed potatoes or some other things for kids, just sneak them in. I've got here, you can see in a plastic tub, that's broccoli. Again, broccoli dehydrates well, really, really good. I made my own, the ready to eat rice meals and the pasta meals, and I add on broccoli to them as a standard. It rehydrates perfectly. It really goes really nice, bright green color, and it works really, really well. So I have a lot of broccoli. Again, they're literally all over the place, so I'll have to do a bit better because I need some space in my cupboard. Here, so I had some chamomile flowers and some lavender flowers that need to be put in a little jars, which I've bought for that. Haven't done it yet. Strawberries, I've got a teeny weeny amount of strawberries here. Yeah, they okay. I've got like a big jars of strawberries, which I'll show you in a different video up there. They okay. They're just there for some reason. I think it's one of the first batches I did, and I totally forgot that it was there. So probably powder it and put it together. Right, beetroot. I only got one jar of this, and I think I showed you the beetroot rehydrates superbly well, and it's actually quite amazing that it plumps up and it's pretty much becomes like a boiled beetroot, which is really good. Here I have some more broccoli and some more homegrown onion. Yeah, it's a bit darker. You see the homegrown and home dehydrated is a bit more golden in color comparing to the short bought ones. I think because I probably dehydrate on slightly higher temperature, but nonetheless. Right, see here I've got some herbs, and I have a whole herb cupboard where I put and shove herbs in, so they're like 2 of them full of it. This is thyme. Again, they shouldn't be there, so I like to do with the herbs, I like to do, it's not in here, it's in different, oh yeah, herb mixture. So I keep some herbs separate, so when I do my own salt mix, okay, I can nitpick the quantities of specific salts, herbs that I like to do. When I have the odds and sods of herbs, I just powder this and make a mixed herb powder. It just makes my life a little bit easier. So anyway, the next thing, I've got some more chilies. Again, I don't really need to keep them in the jars like that because I don't, I've got some chili powder imminently to use. They need to be clearly combined and off to a different location. So here I've got, oh, that was, I think, mint. I've done tons and tons of mint from my garden for a mint tea. Yeah, mint. So this is just, for some reason, just a teeny weeny bit. Again, mess. Coriander? No. Parsley? No. Yeah, curly leaf parsley. Again, needs to be combined into the powder. Some more. Oh yeah, that was rhubarb. I've attempted to dehydrate rhubarb, and it's a bit like celery because they're pretty much similar texture. It takes a very, very long time, and it's kind of the only thing they're good for is actually for a tea. Again, so if you make your tea infusions, rhubarb, say ginger, that kind of thing, it goes really, really well. But it is very, very time consuming to dehydrate that. So I've got, oh yes, here I have the lemon crumb. So when I have my dehydrated lemons and oranges, like you've seen in the big containers, I've just basically put them through a food processor and created some crumbs. So when I do cook fish, I'll then mix that with the desired spices, and it actually works really, really well. Then I have some dehydrated oranges. Again, plastic tubs. Yeah, dehydrated oranges, like scrubbed, obviously, scrubbed the skin before you dehydrate them. You know, if you've watched my video about what's on our vegetables, you got to be very careful nowadays, but nonetheless. And more apples, so there we are. Right, here I have, what was that? Oh yeah, dehydrated cauliflower. I was giving that a go, and yeah, it's okay. It's gone a bit, you know, golden color, but it's okay. It's, you know, it works really well. It rehydrates okay, a bit like broccoli. Color doesn't become pure white, but it's not a big deal. So sweet, I've dehydrated some sweet in chunks, okay, for ease of storage and to be added on to like stews or risottos type thing. And I've got some red peppers and some orange bell peppers, just normal non-chili peppers. They do really well. Again, when I made my ready-made meals, they go in there with some like tomato powder, and again works really well. And then I had here some dehydrated tomato pasta sauce, which I've attempted, and it wasn't too bad, but it took a very long time. And what I mean by the tomato pasta, it was one of those, the jarred tomato things, but I think that one actually had bacon in it, which made it a little bit greasy. It's gone a bit hard, but it was an experiment. But again, I don't think I'll be needing or using that. And here I have lemon powder. It's gone a bit, it happens with the powders, guys. They do just get a little bit sort of, you know, crummy, but nonetheless, lemon powder again for fish or whatever else. And then here I've got some dill flowers. Again, needs to go in the jar. I've got some onion powder that's been purchased, so got a few of those, and some more tomato powder. So I've got some leeks, obviously the mixed veg, and I've got some more broccoli in here. And then I have some tomato powder I bought from Amazon. So I've bought one, okay, and that's arrived, like, it got clumps in there. I think as a bag, like, had a hole in it, and it's gone a bit damp inside, so some of it's crumbed up. So I think I end up going to sieving that through, and then putting that in the jar. And then obviously they have to send a replacement, so I've got another one. I've been concentrating a lot on it because tomato powder makes tomato passata, tomato paste. Thereon from that is tomato sauces, which is very, very good. And then of course, guys, I forgot to mention I have some carrots in here. Again, I've got a massive big jars of mixed veg, which again are not here. Is the carrots, again a teeny weeny jar. Again, they dehydrate superbly well. This one was there to I use for the videos to show you guys the difference between the carrots that have been blanched and not blanched. And dehydrated, you can see the ones that have not been blanched go grey and they lose their nutritional value because of the enzymes. And after we blanch it, you can see they're nice and bright. They've been done like a couple of days apart, so you can see the difference. So if you're ever wondering if you want to or need to blanch your vegetables, you do in this instance. So there we are, guys. So what I'm going to do now is to make some more powder to get rid of those little jars and basically wipe out my pantry, tidy it up, and I think I'll probably show to you when it's all done. So I guess I'll see you when I've accomplished. So this is what we have now. So I've tidied a few jars down, which is really, really good. Repackaged certain things, and I've put all the powders now at the bottom. I repackaged the tomato powders now, and I've got the big one. When I get another one, I top it up, and I'll put oxygen absorber in there. So I've got my Milo bags and some hops at the back, and obviously in the top it just generally just looks a little bit tidier. So I'm just going to put a bay leaf and a bit of lavender, and happy days. So guys, here we are. This is it for today. So I do hope you enjoy my little tour of my little mini pantry here. I know it's, I think when it comes to the pantry tours, I think people find it difficult to resist. And everybody always wants to have a look at what other people have and how do they do it, how do they store it. Anyway, so hopefully you enjoyed this one. And I said at some point I'll be brave enough and show you my Dehydrated, the long-term prepper pantry. So anyway, guys, we'll hopefully enjoy this, or somewhat maybe find this a little bit useful. Don't forget thumbs up, maybe subscribe if you haven't already. And I shall see you in the next video. Bye-bye.